Sometimes it's frustrating. There's an elephant in the room when it comes to manifestation and the law of assumption that I haven't heard any other channel or any coach talk about. And it's the level of frustration that we sometimes might experience on our journey. And I don't mean about our desires, I'm talking about other people. Now, I created this channel because I love the law sincerely, and I've experienced a complete change in myself and in my life when I began practicing it in earnest instead of half-ass believing in it. I've successfully manifested a change of appearance, better health, and over 150-pound weight loss. I've manifested my dream car, 2 homes. I became a self-published author, and I have published several titles, and now I'm a YouTuber as well. I manifested my child. I manifested my former partner. And so in my personal experience, I can confidently say that the law has worked perfectly for me. And I have manifested and successfully held on to my manifestations until I changed my mind and decided I wanted something else. In the case of my former partner, for instance. So why do I feel frustrated? Well, I don't feel that way about the law itself. What frustrates me is a combination of things. For instance, a lot of people say that they're very open to it, but then they don't seem to understand or want to understand the fundamental, what I believe is the fundamental principle that's behind every successful manifestation, and they're all successful, which is the underlying and ever-present truth of who you are, which is I am. It's all about, yeah, I know I'm source, I know I'm cause, but how do I get my stuff? How do I get XYZ? How do I get my specific person to be with me, to be madly in love with me? You're missing the point if that's what you're doing. You need to tap into source first and foremost. You need to get in touch with I am. And if you're frustrated at the fact that you don't see any movement and you're not experiencing your desires and you're getting tired and you're thinking that manifestation is a hoax, this shit doesn't work, etc., I'm here to tell you, have you gotten in touch with your I am? Have you gone within? How often have you done that? How often have you occupied that state? The state where you have that desire. Because the only person here that has to be convinced and persuaded that you already have what you're wanting is you. Because it comes from within. It has to be normal and natural in your imagination, in your mind, in order for it to be solidified from the quantum. That's what Dr. Joe Dispenza refers to 4D, which is the realm of infinite, limitless possibilities. You are materializing it in your 3D from there. But do you honestly think, do you honestly believe that anything is going to solidify into matter that you're not really sure about, that you're doubting, that, you can say, okay, I have it in my imagination, but I still don't see it out there. Do you see how that's an instant waiver? Because that's what you're doing. See, I don't know if you guys know that or not, but that's what you're doing. You have to be so convinced and firm in who you are, and it's because of who you are that the desire ends up solidifying into matter anyway. It was always there, just waiting for you to dominantly occupy the state of the person that already has it. I don't know how else to say that any simpler than how I just said it. I am source, God, universe, higher power, higher self. If you believe in none of those words, then insert the word that you do. That doesn't matter. That's what's going on here. That's what you need to be tapping into. And what I see a lot of, and I've been seeing it, ever since I stumbled my very first law of assumption video, which I started watching a few years ago. And I've seen many people that are over consuming information, and they're over consuming from all of these different sources, while completely missing the fact that all of this that's happening is really about one person, and that person is you and how you're interpreting it, not someone else online, not even me, not my channel. That's why I'm saying it's about you. It's all about you, the individual you, your I am. I cannot imagine how many times I've seen or heard a coach tell a story about a client, and they always culminate in a yeah, but. So do you believe or do you not believe? And if you don't believe, and that's okay, you don't have to, by the way, then are you at least willing to allow yourself to contemplate, to marinate on the desire or the outcome that you would prefer to see and experience in your 3D? And you push aside anything that comes up, any thought that comes up, that'll never happen, that's impossible, there's no way, or whatever. If you can suspend the disbelief and tell that thought, you don't have to go down the rabbit hole of every single thought that pops into your head. The thoughts do not control you. You do. You're in control. So you can choose to say no thanks to that thought. I'd rather put my attention on this. What if it did work out? And you start to challenge yourself. I didn't say anything there about belief. You can challenge yourself, though. Your inner dialogue with yourself. You can. And you can tell whatever thought comes up, no matter how overwhelming, take a deep breath in, exhale, and ask yourself, well, what would happen if? What if it did work out? What if my specific person did show up the way that I want them to? What if I was already a multimillionaire? How would I go about my day? What would I be driving? Would I take vacations? Where would I take them? What kind of lifestyle would I have? What time would I get up? What would I eat on a daily basis? Would I do anything for charity? What kind of charities would I like to support? You see how you start thinking in that manner, and you leave the other thoughts, the crap ones that you don't want, you push them to the side. Well, that'll never, it doesn't matter. I'm thinking about this now, because we have that control. We're in control. Okay? You're not powerless. You have all of the options available at any given time. And another frustration that I have are with people who ask about the law of assumption. And I am someone who is incredibly, incredibly passionate about this. I get excited at the simple prospect of explaining the law to anybody, because I want everybody to understand the basics, to understand the law, so that they can then test it and use it to create the kind of life, the kind of world that they want, that they prefer. And it is always my hope that as they do that, if at some point eventually they would come back to me with a combination of wonder and excitement that they're feeling on their own because it worked for them, But what I see too much is the other kind of person who seems to be hearing me, but they're not actually listening to what I'm saying. I've experienced that so much, especially in the last, before I had a YouTube channel, because I've been talking about the law for years. I've been sharing what I've studied for years. And when I've seen people listen and apply what I have learned in their own lives, and I watch how their lives transform and they succeed and they start getting the things that they want, that makes me incredibly freaking happy for them. But when they're not actually listening to what I'm saying, it's like I'm casting pearls before swine. And these people seem to prefer to continue either wallowing in their own self-pity or complaining about how much their life sucks and how they have all of these problems and nothing ever changes. And I'll be honest with you, there are times, moments that I just want to scream in their faces and challenge them and say, well, then do something about it. And if you don't do something about it, then that is entirely on you. But please quit bitching about your life to other people and just accept your crappy situation without any further complaints, because you're the one in charge of your reality and you're refusing to do something about it. Because let me say this, no coach and no channel is going to save you. No coach and no channel is going to bring your desire into your 3D. That's on you. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm just going to keep it completely transparent with you. One of the most obnoxious and predatory scams, I feel like, and that's my assumption, I don't feel like changing it, aside from those manifest a text in 24 hours baloney, that's a whole other level of obnoxious too, is the manifest for me coaching services. Guys, seriously, why not trust yourself over a coach who says that they'll manifest for you by affirming or doing whatever else technique that they claim to do for you? Because it's all you anyway. Quit the powerless BS nonsense that you're telling yourself and do the work. How do you do the work? You go within. You go within. You do, not the coach. You. Honestly, if anybody gets taken for a ride by any of these people online and you end up not getting your desire at all, or it ends up delaying or whatever else, that's on you. Because how the hell can anyone quantify whether or not the coach in question affirmed enough for you, for example? How do you prove that? You have no one to blame but yourself if you get taken for those rides. No offense to any of these coaches. Some of them, I've seen their channels. I like them as people. I think that they're absolute nice people. And I believe that they genuinely want to help. And maybe the only reason why they're even offering the Manifest for Me services is because a lot of you are thinking that you're powerless and you're begging for that type of service to be offered. And I'm saying, cut the crap. It's you. It's all you. Pick up your mat and walk. Pick up your bed and walk to the pool like Jesus said to the man. It's you. It's you. I get that they want to help you, but help yourself. I'm not ashamed to say this in the least. And if it makes me unpopular and I'm a brand new channel with only a couple of subscribers as of right now, then so be it. You know, I know, I'm sure that everybody's just trying to pay their bills or trying to legit help the world out there, the people who feel powerless, who are, you know, probably struggling a lot and they're not understanding, in which case my suggestion to you would be to go back and read the material which is out there. And I'm sure that if you found it online, you could find PDFs of Neville's work. You can find PDFs of, for instance, Seth and Jane Roberts' work, Dr. Joseph Murphy, Reverend Ike's work. I feel like these are the legit people from back in the day. You don't have to agree with every single thing that they say, but I feel that those people had the core concept of the law of assumption down solidly. That's where you go. If you're really feeling too overwhelmed and like nothing's happening, you're not understanding it or whatever, go there then. Stick to that. Listen to the material or reread the material, but then pause. Don't just give it a read through. It's not like a work of fiction where you're being entertained by a story. These are books that you should and ought to, especially if you're feeling frustrated or confused by the law. These are books that you should be studying like textbooks, rereading them, pausing in between passages to make sure that you're understanding. And then if you go and you ask a coach, hey, I read this, what's your take on it? If you want to get their opinion on that, great. Ask the question. You can ask it of me at any time. I don't mind. And I'm not a coach. I'm not here selling coaching services. I don't know that I'll ever do that. You know, I mean, never say never, but I don't see myself being a coach because I like sharing this information because I'm passionate about it and because I love it and because I want to help people understand. I want them to have the life that they want, that they deserve, because we all deserve what we want. We all deserve to be happy. We don't deserve to feel miserable and awful and just like we can't seem to get anything right in our lives. That's not what we're on the planet for. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for listening.